This is a bit of an odd one for me and you, I feel.
Yeah. I'm ready, though.
I'm ready. You ready, Harry?
Well, I'm ready.
Harry's been ready for this for
I've
years. So, episode 17, and we are breaking into new territory with a film widely regarded as one of, if not the greatest anime film of all time, Akira.
From legendary director Katsuhiro Otomo comes one of the greatest animated films of all time. Akira.
Do you know what I got from that? I thought it was in like an arcade.
Yeah.
And the flashing lights and everything. I was like, So yeah, we're doing Akira.
We are.
Madness. Just so people that are listening know, Ollie's not with us. He's decided to leave the Missing Scene podcast for one episode. He's unfortunately preoccupied tonight.
Yeah.
But he's here in spirit. And we've got a little message for you, but we'll play that later. But yeah, this is very much a big film for you, isn't it, Harry?
Yeah, this was a film. I mean, when we were doing the initial idea of the podcast, and we wanted to cover as many sort of genres and styles and stuff. Anyway,
definitely, yeah.
And so we floated the idea of doing animated movies, like with the original idea of trying to come up with like extra scenes, like what was something that had a very complete universe, what is like something that we could add into, was my idea of floating this. And then these two told me that they had never seen it. So it became less about, let's do something for the podcast and let me just make you guys watch the really fucked up cartoon.
Yes. It's one of those films, though, that I've always known about. It's one of those films that you know, if someone says Akira, you know of it. Yeah. You might not know what it's about, but you've seen certain motorbike. You've seen a red motorbike, a guy in red leather. That you've even probably seen a clip of him doing the bike slide. Or you've seen some form of Akira. You might not know that it was Akira, but you've heard of it. You've seen imagery of it.
Yeah, mine was like in Waterstones, walking past the
fucking tome.
Yeah,
we will get into. I have not read the manga yet because mostly every time I look past it, it's like, that's scary.
Yeah, like it's just solid black box.
Yes.
Yeah.
With like red writing on it, and it's I was just like, every time I walk past it, I was like, the fuck is that?
You can get like, it's like 120 quid.
Yeah.
Of like the 6 volumes.
It's an intimidating. It's like a shelf space that it has in most of your.
Oh, it's more than that. It looks like if I put it on my shelf is falling down. There's probably nothing else on it, but it's going down.
Yeah.
I'll do a little bit of introduction information, just a little clip, a little bit. So, released in 1988, Akira is an anime film based on the manga series of the same name, written and illustrated by Katsuhiro Otomo, who also directed the film, which I found out today.
Yep.
With a budget of $5.5 million at the time, it spent 4 years in production. It spent 4 years in production, and Akira is seen as the anime film to first break into mainstream Western culture. Would you agree with that, would you say?
Yeah, I think for a lot of people, this was sort of ground zero. I mean, you've got Ghost in the Shell a couple of years later.
Yes.
And then stuff like your more shonen stuff starts getting brought across, but a lot of that either wasn't translated. Like, you can go into the history of like fan dubs of Dragon Ball and whatever. This was the first one that was reading into like, there were like sort of showings of this at like colleges or whatever. There was lots of this came in and was the first sort of a lot of people's early exposure, which I think was a good choice to do it for you guys as well.
Yeah, man.
Definitely, because me and Charles are partial to a bit of weirdness. And
again,
every time we were talking about this, you were like, there's something. You was like,
just
don't
wait.
look into it.
Yeah.
Don't look into it.
I think, Charlie, I was speaking to you previously, and you were like, I've heard there's a little bit of body horror. And, like, I think we can agree. There's a little bit of body horror.
It's, me and Charlie loved, most recently Substance. But we've also, especially Ollie, big David Cronenberg fans. And, it's one of those things where, when you get told there's a little bit of body horror, it's like it automatically piques your interest. A quick film synopsis. So this is just a little one, just so people can get an overview, and then we'll get into what me and Charlie first were going to expect. So A secret military project endangers Neo Tokyo when it turns a biker gang member into a rampaging psychic psychopath who can only be stopped by a teenager, his gang of biker friends, and a group of psychics. Now that is very, very short descriptive because a shit ton happens in it. So Charlie, when you thought of Akira before you see it, what did you actually think it was about, or?
Okay, yeah. So, having not really done any research before watching the film, I just thought it was going to be maybe two gangs of motorbike guys in Tokyo, like the warriors on motorbikes.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I was like, maybe there's this group that kind of need to get somewhere. There's another group that need to stop them. That was
I think for like the first 2 minutes or so, you can probably be like,
first 5 minutes,
you know, there's a clown going.
When we were watching it, like my face was like smiling into it. I was like, my prediction is correct, and then all of us, I mean.
So for me, it was pretty much exactly the same. I was like, when I saw when you see the front cover, or you see when you see any imagery of it, the majority of the time it is just Canada and his bike, right? Majority of the time. Yeah. I was exactly the same as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was like about. I knew it was futuristic, and I knew it was like future. But I thought it was like futuristic. Literally, just what I didn't know he was. I didn't think he was in a gang. I thought it like. And I thought he was Akira. So I've gone, he's Akira. Yeah. He's like, he's got this like super bike, and like he's got like do something to help. Like he's got to help somebody. That's what I was getting. Where the fuck did all this psychic and the fucking we will get into it, but even like bits like the fucking the freaky three zombie power kids.
The hospital scene does not get spoken about enough, but the little toys.
Right, so it is whatever you think it is. It is not.
Yeah.
It is. It's just crazy.
And so again, in terms of like world building and talking about the manga again, I am very guilty of not having read the manga. It's something that I would love to get to at some point, but again, it's a scary fucking. But like, so my understanding is the first like collected volume, which is about 17 issues, is all bike stuff. So even if you're going on the basis of like, if you were reading this, even if you were reading it, for the most part, you're not going to know what the fuck this is. Like 17 issues are basically happen before we get to the part where the film starts. Like
where the more fantasy.
Yeah. So like you obviously have you have the explosion is still like the first double page spread. So the scene that we see at the very start of this, which is silent, serene image of Tokyo, and then this black nuclear void appears. It then shows you what Neo Tokyo looks like, which I think is someone described like it's all shot in red, like looking down, and it was described as like looking like a bullet wound, which is a great way of referring to that. But then where we join in the film is like there has already been it had already been running for like the manga had already been running for like a year or so essentially.
Yeah, it'd been out for a couple. Yeah,
but in terms of the starting point is that would be a year into the manga's run.
Okay.
So even if you were a reader, it is already going on. You know, these are the motorcycle gangs, and a lot of what we'll get into about a lot of the themes. When you ignore the crazy, and believe me, there is a lot of crazy to look around. I do think there is a the heart of this film.
There's a lot of real life things.
Yeah, like teenagers who don't have any other hope for, and a lot of that stuff I missed the first couple of times through, and only picked up on it this time. But the main characters are basically just trying to live their lives the best they can. Like it has that sort of warrior's grittiness to it. Before it gets into where it gets to go to, which we will get to.
Did it meet your expectation, Charles?
Exceeded them.
Exceeded
thoroughly.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
I obviously we watched this. It was about 2 weeks ago now, right?
Yeah.
Roughly.
Yeah.
And obviously the past couple of days I've been thinking about it a lot more because of obviously doing this episode.
Yeah.
When I first came out of the room watching Akira, so much had happened, it didn't sink in.
Yeah.
I was
same.
I was like watching. I was thinking like, again, I was thinking like, what the hell have I just watched?
Yeah.
Then you got this. We'll get onto it, but the end scene, the big end scene, and I was like, what have I just? And then, but there is so, like I say, there's so much going on. You've got the whole the youth. and like how like gang culture and youth. You've got decaying cities and a city that is built the size of this city. You think there's so much money, but you've still got these absolute grot suburb places. Then you've got the fantasy sidekick, a little bit of horror.
Yeah.
Future, like so much happens in this film. I came out thinking I didn't know what to think.
Yeah. So we, I think when we initially floated the idea, there was like, oh, we'll watch it and then we'll go straight after. And me and Ollie were both like,
I'm so
you guys
glad
aren't
you
doing
didn't.
that. Like I think I first watched this film started watching it at like 11 o'clock at night, so got done at like 1:30. And if you would ask me my opinions, it's I need to have a nap.
Yeah.
Which
however, from thinking about it and rewatching some clips on YouTube, I feel like my second watch is going to be not that the first one wasn't enjoyable, but I am going to watch that thinking this is a fucking top film.
It is a film that I think I've enjoyed. Like, I was very hesitant to go back to it because of a lot of the stuff that you see in it. It's like, I don't know if I want to watch this again, but every time I have rewatched it, like, you pick up more in it and you get to live in it a bit more. You get to breathe a bit more of that city. And yeah, it's whole thing. Obviously there was, so that I think was the big concern for me, is obviously, have I built it up too much? And just in general, has this film, because saying like, the way that it's seeped into culture, Western culture, regardless of whether you're talking Western culture or just, it's within its own little world. How did you guys think about that in terms of, like, this is a film with a shadow to it, I think. Where are we thinking there, if that makes sense? Where, like, in terms of, I'm trying to work out, I've already lost the track. We're already gone. Basically, in terms of, like, you were saying when you and Ollie went to watch Terminator, and like there was, you guys had one of Ollie's friends with you whose opinion was sort of, it's all right, because is there a case of had you already seen too much of it? Had it already? Were you already too aware of it? Had it already? Was it dimmed?
I knew nothing about it.
I mean, that is my question. Is sort of, was it dimmed at all in terms of the things that you now think it may have influenced? Does that make sense?
No, I'm not one for saying that I've never really been interested in anime. Anime's not really been top of my list of I need to start looking at some.
For sure.
My first delve into anime was The Boy and the Heron. Obviously, completely different to what Akira is. And I enjoyed it. I wasn't. I say I wasn't blown away, but I didn't come out thinking, I need to watch the next one. I need to watch something else.
For sure.
So for me, after watching Akira, I was more like, right, I need to see what else is out there.
Fair enough.
But it didn't dampen anything expectation-wise.
Okay.
Like I said, because I wasn't into anime so much, I knew nothing about
Fair
it.
enough.
Like I said, I'd seen the imagery of the bike, of him on the Canada on the bike. Didn't even know saw no imagery of Tetsuo. I never saw the end thing.
The people managed to keep the ending such a secret. I can't
believe out of all the weird stuff that I've watched, and obviously then like whenever like the substance about or anything body horror wise, and then I've gone on Instagram, then obviously whatever you look at, like I saw loads of like people talking about. I'm so surprised that out of all the body horror shit that I've seen, that it hadn't popped up. It hasn't popped up once. There is not a lot of images on it.
That was the surprise to me, and that was why, again, my main thing was like, this is a Dan and Charlie film.
I mean, even before, because that whole body horror bit is pretty much the last 20 minutes, would you say, of the film? Leading up to that, though, it's still weird shit.
It's still weird shit, but so should we get into how we get to that? How we get to that weird shit? Let's
right. So we start the. Well, have you got some facts? For us? Let's start a few facts.
Again, so like the in terms of in relation to the manga. So a thing that I didn't know is I didn't realize that the manga was still going when this film came out.
Yes,
so
I saw that. Yeah.
So the manga ended 2 years later, which gave him a lot of freedom to or at least hearing him say it gave him a lot of freedom to. No, okay, this is what is going to be the manga version, this is what is going to be the film version, and to think about them as two separate sort of projects.
So are the endings different that you know?
So you still end up going to big space. My understanding is the ending is a lot bigger in the manga because, again, this was already pushing the limits of how much money anyone would be willing to give
especially on something that's animated and drawn.
Exactly. So it goes bigger. There's already a lot of differences in terms of how a lot of the characters relate to each other. There are characters that are very much cut from this film. Already the film is, I think, bursting at the seams with characters and storylines. Like Akira is a living character in the book, which he very much isn't in this.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So it is quite different. But yeah, it was once he knew that he was being able to make both, he was like, okay, what is going to be the version of this story that I can tell in one succinct version, and then what can I allow to be more sprawling and sort of spread out? They do end up going to the same place, right? They still end up at the same
stadium
point.
and all that,
Yeah, but obviously much more stuff to get to it in the manga. Was very much already known that this was going to be a big deal. Highest budgeted anime film at the time of its release. So with 1988, the facts that we've came up with are a budget of 5.5 million. Do not know what that is in terms of translating that into yen.
It's something like, I think it's something like 700 million yen.
And I'm not 100% sure, obviously, how that relates to like inflation and what this.
I think when I looked, it went up to roughly, it's now roughly $10 million.
Okay.
Over $1 billion yen. The yen is mad. Anyway, but I think it's roughly something along those lines.
It held the record for the highest budgeted or most expensive anime for a long time. It was the Tale of Princess Kaguya, which was billed as like one of the last Ghibli films. That was the one that eventually broke it, and I think that was around 2013, 2014.
Oh, so quite.
It held it for
nearly
a
30
while.
Years, yeah.
And again, it shows like everything in this film is.
We'll get into it. The animation. The more I think about it, the animation in this is for 1988. Is insane.
Unbelievable. So I believe it is somewhere in the region of 130,000 cells of animation.
I have the number. So it was over 160,000 cells.
160,000.
That's
insane.
So these are hand drawn.
Yep. So you will sometimes hear a lot of people be like, "Oh, they don't make them like this. There's no CGI in this or whatever." There absolutely is, because they threw everything to get this film out. So like, you've got effects in terms of the glowing ring. We'll get into that in a bit, but
there's no way you could draw that.
But so basically they were using this technology as everything that we can put into this to get this to the screen. It was Otomo's basic, like, he did not want too much interference. He did not want people to ruin his vision. So to ensure that happened, there was the foundation, and you'll see this in the credits that already looks like this scary fucking thing on itself, funded by the Akira Committee, which was a conglomeration. It was part Toho, part Bandai, part, I think I had it on my phone a moment ago. Let me bring up the exact.
While you look for that, I watched an interview with him, and he basically said at the start he wanted to do it all by himself.
Mm-hmm. They would have been going there for years.
I was like...
I mean, it was 4 years anyway.
Yeah.
But like, what I really like the fact that, because obviously he wrote and drew Akira. Yeah. The fact that he directed it, I don't think there was anybody else that should have done it.
Yeah.
Because it's him, isn't it?
The actors also performed pre.
Yep.
So
they pre-recorded
animation. Yeah.
And then everything had to match to that, which is
that's
wild.
Fucking insane. Because usually the actors watch and then they do it based off of the movement, right?
But no, so this story. This story was how they wanted it to be told, and they were going to kick and scream to make it happen. The Akira Committee consisted of, and I'm potentially butchering these, as always, apologies. Kandansha, Manichi Broadcasting System, Bankai, Hakuhodo, Toho, the Laserdisc Corporation, and the Sumitomo Corporation.
That's insane.
So lots of, I'm assuming those are probably very big. The ones that we know that
Bankai's massive in gaming, right?
Yeah, toy company, and then Namco.
Laserdisc is fucking
Laserdisc. At that time would have been huge. Toho is Toho.
Yeah.
Toho,
they are Godzilla, right?
Godzilla, yep. They've been going since like the Akira Kurosawa days. They are one of the biggest.
That's a committee. Jesus Christ. Do you think that's all to keep it Japanese heritage?
I believe it was a lot of that. I believe it was a lot of, so that if one person then tried getting sort of their hand too much in the pot, 5 other companies were there to say
no.
Start the
That's a really good idea, actually.
To keep everyone in line.
Cool.
Some other stuff in terms of he was convinced into finally going ahead with doing it because he had a conversation with Alejandro Jodorowsky. They were like apparently drinking coffees, and boy, I want to know how that happens. I want to know how those two get together.
Jesus. See, one of the things for me that I haven't seen it, I want to see Holy Mountain.
Someone you know through sort of reputation. Yeah.
So I love the fact that Jodorowsky has gone and been like, you need to make this, because his films seem also, pretty fucking mad.
Fucking mental.
So that's so cool.
And then you were saying about like sort of the hand-drawn details and whatever. One of the stories that I dug up was when he was first speaking to, you know, the people that would then be sort of the animators behind what he was doing. You know, one of them asked like, right, draw us what you basically want as like the camera eye level. Like, give us what the basic shot is going to look like. He drew one of the street scenes, like didn't draw any of Neo Tokyo as the mega city, literally just like from eye level, sort of complete with all the graffiti, all the trash, all the general detritus that this city is. The animator took one look at it, was like, cool, that's impossible, and walked away. It is. Because, so if we then start with...
So we start with the beginning of the film then?
Yeah. Let's get into that. So... as I said, you see this like a very cold open. It is you see the city first. You see this big black void envelop the city, basically completely silent without any soundtrack. And we'll get into how good the soundtrack is in a moment. But this is a very brave open. And then it cuts to, so this happened, would have been set around 1990 something.
So it's supposed to be 31 years. Yeah. The film is set after the film is set 31 years after
the explosion.
Yeah, because isn't it supposed to be like World War III or something like that?
Yeah, so that was, my understanding is the explosion, basically the world was on the precipice of World War. The Japanese in this universe were working on the Akira, which we will then later learn which is what causes this explosion. I believe the understanding is basically they wouldn't own up to what they were doing, but obviously everyone was so close at the moment this happened, it threw the world into disarray. And then we basically catch up 31 years in the dark future of 2019 into what is now Neo Tokyo, where they have rebuilt post-war. Most of the rebuilding has built upwards. It is this glorious neon city, everyone built on everyone's misery.
So if everyone knows Tokyo as it is now, and it's massive. So like, isn't like Greater Tokyo is the size
Neo Tokyo is like bigger than England. Yeah, they've expanded outwards.
Neo Tokyo is just like 3 times as big.
Yeah,
it's like some of the drawings in this, the way they show it is like, the buildings are so big that the screens are just filled with building.
Yeah.
Like you have foreground and background building. And some of the times when the movement happens and the buildings are separating as you move, there's just another building behind it.
So in terms of years of release, I think it's fascinating that the manga originally came out, I believe first issue was December of 1982. And Blade Runner is June 1982. Now, I don't know how much imagery was taken from what or whatever, but you've got to assume most of this city was already like the groundwork was laid for it in that original imagery. So the idea that in that year you could potentially absorb both of these two pretty fucking landmark cyberpunk
all stories. To do with city, big city settings.
Again, because those are like the two. If I think of cyberpunk city, I think of Neo Tokyo, and I think of New LA. Like those are the.
So do you think it's weird because like you say, like the manga started in 1982, Blade Runner released 1982. Is there some weird coincidence that they were both just inspired by this kind of story?
A lot of it, you're also going off, like Blade Runner pulls very heavily from East Asian like imagery anyway in its city. If you think about again, like Atari, and for better or worse, again, there are people that can get into the idea that, they wanted to see they tried for, like Blade Runner writes what is the scariest vision of America, and it's one with a lot of Eastern influence, and that probably isn't great, but you're still pulling from Atari logos everywhere. You've got geishas on the windows. And that neon imagery that Tokyo was already starting to build towards. And again, real Tokyo, again, if you want a history of post-war Japan, please look elsewhere. We are not the people for that. But it had the same sort of idea of a boom to cover up the issues that it obviously had. And again, like, this film is very much drawing on what Tokyo was at the time, a lot of the paranoias that were underlying at Tokyo at the time, and what the government wasn't really talking about. Don't think this film likes the Japanese government very much. Might be getting that bit of subtext. But yeah, so it is and then again, you see it basically you first see these skyscrapers, but then we're immediately in at ground level. So we've got like this fucking gnarly biker bar, Canada, like you've got a barman who is selling capsules, like selling pills to basically teenagers. The gang in question are called the Capsule Gang themselves, so they've got all this drug imagery all over
the
jacket. Back of the jacket,
yeah. Canada is there, like very sort of old school biker messing around on a jukebox. They get the word that the clowns are in town or whatever, and
the
they
other
hit the
biker
road.
gang,
who are, again, you were saying about the Warriors, like gang of fucking literal gang of clowns. So they hit the road, they sort of rip through these streets that are just like garbage piled up everywhere, homelessness, like everything that you have, the top level of what you've seen of, wow, this is beautiful, and then you are like, this is awful. This is not a place.
If I could compare it to something else, just thinking about it now, because if people have seen this film, it's very similar to Fifth Element wise, where Fifth Element is built up and everything is bright, but then there's this lower level where it's just mist and it's just nothing. And it's just like a forgotten world.
That is another one when I'm saying, like, you know, was its influence perhaps dimmed? Like, again, absolutely, I reckon Luc Besson was looking at this.
Yes.
Like, there is no way that hasn't happened. But yeah, so you've got you're introduced to the gang here. The two main there are other characters, but the two main we're going to be spending a lot of our time with are Kaneda and Tetsuo. Kaneda's sort of the leader of the gang, and then you've got Tetsuo, who is sort of the runt of the litter. He's just out back fucking with Kaneda's bike when we first meet him, like trying to work out how it works. Kaneda literally like shoos him off of like, you want a bike like that, you got to steal it yourself, mate. And yeah, then they head through the city. Again, another description that I heard that was beautiful of like, it zooms out and you see the bikes going through freeways, like sort of blood vessels into the heart of the... yeah, and so we see that they are in conflict with, a gang of clowns. I love how much the city is like fucking traffic jams and like no one can get anywhere. You've got, you see so much of... Again, you could purely focus on, look how cool these bikes are, but this film doesn't. It's like, you've got, again, people just trying to get home from work, and the fucking biker gangs have beheaded each other with crowbars. Yeah. And it's the fucking inconvenience to them.
Or like getting thrown through a restaurant
through
window.
Restaurants. They're just having a nice dinner, and then like...
That's what's mad about this film, is that there's so much biker imagery, but there's not a lot of actual biking.
It's like, again, it's like there, but it's part of the culture that informs the characters. But again, if you were like, I want to watch a film about motorbikes, this probably is.
Not for you.
But even the bikes, the designs of the bikes are quite
cool.
The designs of the bikes are quite similar to the gangs as well. Like the clown gang bikes are very much big.
Yeah, they're like almost like over exuberant, like old choppers or whatever.
And then the capsules gang, like Tetsuo's is like a kind of green, like mint green. They look like pills.
Yeah,
they're all
you
curved and
look like an old arcade system as well. I get that sort of idea.
Yeah.
Like Canada sort of sits into his, not sits on
it overtakes over him.
Yeah,
it's
so good.
It's very cool.
And yeah, so they start chasing after the gang, and then as they are doing this, we've got some other dude running around with a kid through, again, the worst nightmare.
It's like a riot's happening, isn't it?
Yes, you've got the and we'll talk about it more, but there is like a constant paranoia of like terrorism and activism, and the way that the military are sort of cracking down on that as well and being just as bad as the people that are causing the issues. You've got this monster fucking traffic jam. Everyone is unhappy, and in the middle of it, you've just got this dude with a kid who you can't quite see much of the details of. And every time you do, it's like, why is this kid grey? Is he green? What the fuck is happening here?
I remember seeing this bit for the first time and I was like, what's going on? I was like, why are we going left here?
So the dude is like bleeding from his stomach. He's like clearly gone through some shit. He's holding a gun in one arm as he's dragging this child along. They end up getting like guy gets gunned down. Like, they send fucking bloodhounds after him, and the guy gets gunned down in like fucking hail of artillery fire. Kid disappears, quite literally, and he heads to like the old city, which is where we say that they've like already built on top of Tokyo. There's this other bit that they have like completely ignored,
neglected
around the stadium, like where Ground Zero for whatever happened is just referred to as the old city. Tetsuo races into that. He's happily beating up some clown doing fucking road rash in real life or whatever. And then, slams into the child. The first sort of chance you get to see the child. Again, the soundtrack that has already been very percussive. It's inspired by like Indonesian gamelan and Japanese no music, but it's like very percussive. It's very organic. It's like this. Absolutely cuts away just in time for him to slam into this child who turns around and appears to be like 90 years old. We have no fucking idea what happens. Bike explodes. And so,
But
Canada,
the kid's fine.
Yeah, kid's fine. Canada heads in to get them and then sees the remains of this, which is, you've got this child we don't understand. Another child turns up in a tuxedo and
a fucking floating chair.
Floating pod.
Coming out of like a military helicopter.
Yeah, the military are immediately there. They're fucking holding Canada and the rest of the gang down. Like, you haven't seen anything that's happened. Clearly some bad shit is going on here. Tetsuo gets sort of whisked away with no answers as to what that is. And then we are just left with the capsule gang having to try and work that out. So we
did they get arrested then as well?
So they get arrested. Mm-hmm. They get sent to the like detention center. Already, you get one guy again going off the like the conflict that is happening behind the scenes. You've got a dude threatening to blow himself up with a grenade, and then that doesn't go off.
Do you know what so the scene where they're in. So basically, the next scene is them all being questioned, isn't it? So they're being questioned like. Canada's putting this smile on, and he's changed his hairstyle. So he doesn't look. I was like, it doesn't look like Canada. Yeah. And then they get let out into this corridor, and then there's this guy with a grenade, and everyone's like, fucking get it. And then the grenade fails. Then everyone just piles into it.
Everyone is just more like inconvenienced. Just like what?
They just start beating the shit out of him. They just start beating the shit out of him.
Smashes his whole face in.
And then they drag him off, and then all you can hear in the background is. Well, they're just carrying on beating
That was
him.
the first scene in which I was like, holy shit. Because they like drag him and it leaves like the
like the blood trail or whatever. Yeah. So we already see, I wrote it down in the note as absolute dog shit authority figures. Like every time there is an adult in this film, they are terrible.
The other thing, the guy that's questioning them, where he says like, I'm 32. I was like, you're not 32. You're like fucking 50. Like he looks fucking old.
Yeah. So I think this also, again, in terms of we probably don't have the best reference points from it, but I think as a reference point that we do have, pulls a lot from like the same anger that I think Battle Royale came from. Yeah. In terms of like you see the same, like you then see them get dragged off like to meet the teachers in the like facility. The only hope they have is the next group of adults they meet who are just running down the line. Backhanding them, discipline. Like all of these kids have no fucking hope. You can look at these like these are all terrible people, which they are. Yeah, the school is horrible. Yeah. You've got them like the teacher hasn't turned up. The fucking kids are basically shooting up in the background.
The outside of the school is like fucking shit everywhere.
Everything is just like It is not sympathetic in the again, and we'll get into the kids here are not good people. They treat there are some characters that deserve to be treated way better than they do get treated by our protagonists here, but like there is no hope for these kids. And definitely I wrote it down as like youth in revolt and very much like a product of their environment.
What's really interesting about the way that you see the city is that like we see all these high-rise buildings and all like the lights and stuff like that, but we never actually get, apart from like the hospital or maybe some of the testing facilities that the military are using, you are always in the shit bit. You never get to see the nice bit. You are always within that section. So it is kind of like, oh, we're part of this. We are part of, we're not part of the elite. We're
so always excluded from, it's so fantastically done. And again, there is just so much world building here. From the way the school is done, from the way that you see the like
you're basically getting to see a background of a character without having to be there for too long.
Yeah.
And it's done so well that you don't have to spend 15-20 minutes finding out about his character. You literally you see them in the bar, you know they live in a shit bit and they're part of a gang, they're not good. You see they're actually their children and they're at school and their school is shit, so how on earth can you expect them to be good?
I think it illustrates that so well that, and again, it doesn't give them a pass, but at the end of the day, these are just kids. Like, these are just fuck-ups because the world has not given them any other chance than to be fuck-ups.
Yeah.
So Kaneda is then trying to get with Kai, continually being who is an activist and sort of.
So Kai, we don't really get introduced to Kai until they kind of say, "Oh, she's with us."
Yeah, they sort of
And
she's in the background, isn't she?
Yeah, but she's also been brought into the sort of detainment area as a militant or whatever.
That line that he says to her when they're like outside, when they're free, I can't remember. But it just like something, bitch.
He's like constantly trying so hard, and it's just like repeatedly like, you're just a fucking scat chaser, mate. It's like, well, you're fucking ungrateful.
That's it.
It's like, oh.
Yeah. I spoke to Ollie about this afterwards, and again, like, we won't give it a pass for this, but all of the female characters in this are basically treated terribly. Some of them way worse than others. One, Kaori, bless her. God, we'll get into her in a bit. But the thing that I kind of, again, don't give it a pass for it, but there's a scene later on where when the kids don't have their bikes or whatever, and the rest of the girls are with them, and it's like, you're fucking boring. Like, let's get out of here. Like, let's go find someone fun. Like, all of this is fun. All of their shitty misogynistic attitudes, again, it's just because they just don't have anything else. They don't have anything else to go on. Yeah, they've got their bikes and they're the cool guys, and then you take the bikes away from them and it's like, oh, fuck. So yeah, and then we start seeing what is happening with Tetsuo. Not good things.
No, it is.
So Tetsuo is then in this fucking MR machine that is living and breathing around him. You've got this fucking Dr. Robotnik looking motherfucker talking to scary fucking military dude who's like 5 times, like tiny head, all shoulders. Tiny face inside tiny head, underneath massive shoulders. And he starts.
Is this where he starts hallucinating?
So not quite yet. He's in the machine.
He's like in pain, isn't he? He's got headaches.
He's getting like the things plugged into him, and he's hearing the word Akira. And he doesn't know what Akira is. We don't know what Akira is yet. Obviously, we know it's the title of the film, so probably pretty fucking important. But yeah, the word Akira comes to him. He then eventually breaks out at this point. He goes and meets up with Kaori, who is his girlfriend, who again, God bless her, she goes through so much in this movie. Yeah. If you watch this, like, I wanna see a happy ending for her. Oh boy.
Is there a happy ending?
No, there's no happy ending for her. So yeah, she is also like within the sort of girls that hang around with her, though. She is also like the runt of the litter again. These are the two that have like come together because they don't have anyone else, and it seems like it's going to be this sort of Romeo and Juliet story. They're like, we're going to blow this joint, we're going to finally get out of here. Tetsuo steals the motorbike, doesn't know how to drive the fucking... Like, steals Kaneda's motorbike, cannot gear shift for shit.
And Kaneda is pissed.
Yeah, they get chased down, though, by the clown gang with some... This is then when you start realizing, if you were like, this is a children's cartoon, this is not a children's cartoon. So the clown gang is there. I forgot about this, and I forgot how shocking it is the way that they treat
everything
Kaori.
That happens up until this point. It's weird, mad, batshit. But then there's this serious scene that we're about to talk about just happens, and it kind of brings you back down to earth again.
It's very brutal. So they attack Tetsuo and Kaori. They go to do some stuff to Kaori that fortunately we don't see more. We already see some nudity.
So they pretty much rip her shirt off her, didn't they?
It's very much implied that that's going to go worse. Tetsuo is basically forced to watch this. He's already like being held back by the others. And
then they just basically beat the shit out of her, didn't they?
Yeah, literally just like punching her in the face. Kaneda comes to the rescue, then immediately also starts beating the shit out of Tetsuo. Tetsuo starts taking it out on the clown gang, the guy that doesn't get away. He's like got him on the floor, just kicking the shit out of him.
Does he end up killing one of them?
He gets very close, and I think Kaneda drags him away. And you can already see this, though, is when you start seeing the hallucinations. So he starts having headaches. He starts being like, this is not right. And then his fucking guts fall out. The ground falls away from him as his stomach literally like rips open and his like intestines are on the floor. Kanada's looking at this, obviously not seeing anything because it turns out Tetsuo is tripping balls here. But he's just on the floor, like trying to scoop his fucking innards back in. Kanada's like, what the fuck is going on? Then the military turn up, are just like, yeah, we're taking him back with us. Scoop him into the van, and then Kanada's again, just like, what the fuck is happening?
Do you know, I forgot about the gut spilling bit because all I remember is the bit where he's basically up against the wall, and you just see flashes of weird flashes of weird shit. You don't know what it is. You don't have time to recognize, but you know from the colors that it's not good. And then I completely forgot about
how graphic when this film does innards, and it does innards a lot. Like the man enjoys drawing some fucking. Like, this is a man who likes drawing an intestine. So then so we now know that Tetsuo is with the military. We now know that Kai is probably Canada's best chance of getting into the military because they are trying to infiltrate in their own respect.
Yeah, because he starts getting help from her
Canada
militant
wants to
friends,
get in, starts realizing that this is a way that they can get in and they can rescue Tetsuo. And then I think so if we start talking, the next big scene I would say would then be the stuff that happens at the hospital.
Which is, again, it takes you down a deep curve of horror.
Horror. Yeah, I am so, again, this is so people always talk about the start of this movie and people always talk about the end of this movie. I don't think this bit in the hospital gets talked about anywhere near enough. Because the moment Tetsuo is already hallucinating. He's like in this hospital bed. And then these fucking toys start calling up to him. There's like this childlike music.
And then they end up evolving into giant teddy bears that are coming through the door. And
he they smash through a wall which breaks down into like Lego bricks and whatever.
Yeah.
And so much of this is already just trippy and weird. And then so he breaks out, heads to where this is coming from. He's getting messages that it's coming from down the road or, coming from down the hall. He starts to learn his powers because the military are like, we're going to stop this. And he just fucking turns him into pulp just as he's walking down. And he then busts in to find that this is where the children that we have been seeing, which are some form of project, are the ones that have been communicating. And
so these are like the 3 zombie kids. Yeah, so you've got the one that...
There's no better way to describe them.
They are literally, so they are the size of children, they talk like children, they act like children, they are grey but look 90.
Yeah.
So one of them is the kid that got hit by Tetsuo.
Yep.
The second one is the kid that was wearing the suit and floats down in his pod. And the third one, which we haven't seen yet, is a little girl who is in like an incubator bed.
Yeah. They are very protective of her, but I think it was
she have like a different special power?
She is more different. Hers appears to be a lot of like foresight or whatever. It seems to be like the military man goes to her for advice. She's already talking about bad things are going to happen if this kid gets out.
He's like really nurturing towards them though, isn't he?
He's a very strange character in terms of how he is with other people. He's both assigned to make them weapons, but then also does seem to care about them.
Yeah.
In contrast to the professor, who very much seems to be like, well, this is great. Once we get these results, I'll be in.
He's on it. Yeah.
He grabs the military dude, grabs him by the scruff of the neck of like, no. This happens again. You cut this. If we have to kill this kid, we are killing this kid. We're not doing this again. As this is happening, so we've got this fight between Tetsuo trying to work out what is happening by confronting the 3 other children. As this is happening, Kai and Kaneda are infiltrating. I was never super into this infiltration scene. I don't think...
It's like through the sewers and...
It's one of those bits of, again, you don't really have enough time to see what is going on with the militant cause, I feel. One thing I do really like about it, as they're going through the sewers, Kai kills a guard that is chasing them, and the way that this is very much like, oh no, I don't know what, like drops the gun, cannot deal with it. It's like very blows the dude's face off. Like you see it like sink into like the goo with like rats with like maggots in them. Like again, so much detail in this. When you think what this could be of just person, they chase down a sewer, person shoots someone, doesn't feel with it, we move on. Like there is a lot again of storytelling around the lines behind the scenes.
I'm kind of with you in terms of that scene. For me, I wasn't fussed about it, but I think because of what we're watching prior to it, you are so invested in finding, like you're given so much information about who these kids are, what's going on with Tetsuo, what the military, like you finding out so much that when you jump to that bit, I know it sounds weird to say someone getting the face blown off is calm, but it's a lot calmer to what we've just been witnessing.
I think it's very interesting the way that the film is edited anyway, and that it feels very episodic, and I do like there is a very distinct fade to black between each sequence of the film, and I do think that maybe works against it a little bit in stages like this, where it's just like, okay, this is the other story, but you want to see what is going on back in the hospital to try and work out what the fuck is going on. So we start to learn that there is another child called Akira who has been sealed away, and the kids are like, you don't want to meet Akira, Tetsuo, that's going to go real bad for you. But Tetsuo already has some bodies to his name by this stage. He's like, whoever this fucking Akira dude is, I can take him.
He basically thinks that it's a really good example actually of a character who is the runt of the litter and has no power, is then given so much power and that they feel like they're on top of the world and nothing's defeating them.
I want to find this Akira and I want to fight this Akira.
Basically take the mantle of I'm the strongest.
But I love how, and again, when I first saw the hospital scene, it was like, ooh, creepy schoolyard imagery or whatever. But I love the way that, the reason why they're toys, the reason why the wall breaks down into Legos, because these kids have never seen anything else. So they are only going off the experience that they have. And the fucking room that they are held in, though, with like, you've got like it's like a room inside already the most Blade Runner building that we see. It's like already like a fucking pyramid, 80 floors up in the sky or whatever. But then they are held in like this dome with like this castle in it. There's all like these like paintings of tigers. It's like a playroom.
Out of place.
It's a playroom like for children, but the context that you see it in is fucking terrifying. So Tetsuo is trying to beat up the children with psionic powers. They're like throwing force fields at each other or whatever. Canada busts in with Kai, like the fucking Kool-Aid man, which I think was the joke we made at the time. And it's just like, what the fuck is this?
I could imagine being Canada at that moment, busting through thing, I'm just going to save my friend, and then seeing all the shit that is going on.
Yeah,
and like, am I in the right place?
By this stage, Tetsuo has literally turned like 80 guards on the way into paste. There's these weird fucking alien children, and Tetsuo is throwing force fields at them. Canada's like, I'm going to help you, and Tetsuo's like, no, fuck off, leave me alone. Basically throws him out the fucking building, and then storms off to go fight Akira. Which, I think takes us to our third stage, probably, right? And we've already heard the term Akira at this stage.
So at this point, as if I'm remembering it right, is Akira talking to Tetsuo?
So I don't necessarily know whether it is Akira that is sending that message.
Because it's like he can feel him.
I think it is a case that all of them are sort of talking to each other, and whether it is intended or not, are sending messages back and forth. And I think it is just Akira was so powerful that chances are, it's going to draw itself to it. What was I just about to say? I was just about to say there was some stuff. We should talk. So we have seen Akira mentioned at this stage. So again, we've had it beamed into his head. We've had one of the cults painting it on the floor at one point. There is a character. So that is a bigger character in the manga. From what I know of, there's like the woman with the sunglasses.
Oh, okay.
She is a huge
part
in the
right?
books.
Yeah.
From my understanding is she basically takes Tetsuo with the living Akira and like builds them as a cult to sort of be these new gods or whatever.
So, because they see... This might be this next bit, actually. So, do they see Tetsuo as the second coming of Akira?
Basically, yeah. So, they already know that... and again, it's a bit different from what is in the film and obviously what was cut for the sake of...
I mean, this is like trying to fit Lord of the Rings in three in an hour and a half.
You are already seeing, like... They're painting the name in red. They know that it has something to do with what caused the before time, basically. They know that it's involved with
everybody kind of that lives in Neo Tokyo kind of has an inkling that what happened before is something to do with this.
Yeah, or like basically the word has got out enough that there was a being named Akira, and then that is going to be treated as some sort of religious.
But they don't know.
For a lot of people, they don't necessarily know what it is. But yeah, I believe it is sort of when you see them doing the chanting, doing the painting on the floor, they are very much treated like a cult, I believe, and they're trying to pull people into that. So again, Akira is like a thing that people know of, a rumor, a conspiracy for some people, a belief for some people, but not something that was ever made official knowledge. We then also see the military dude takes the scientist down there to be like, no, we don't want an Akira again. I'm going to show you what Akira was. It takes like 17 fucking locks. You have to go into like the center of the earth, and it is just this tomb with Akira number 28 on it.
It's gigantic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like the process to get into it is like, okay, we've opened lock number 1 right now. Seal lock number 1 so we can get to lock number 2.
So we, at this point in the film, we don't know where that is, do we? Or do we?
I think we can probably assume that it is near Ground Zero. Again, I think that is. It is then revealed to be underneath the Tokyo Stadium.
The Olympic Stadium,
it was being built for the Olympics at that time. So Tetsuo then heads off to try and find what Akira is. He is walking through the streets, grabs a cape off the like.
Oh, this tank scene is so cool.
Yeah, he's just like walking down, like no emotion, just like.
It's quite funny because again, there's just mass traffic, and there's just a guy sitting in his tank saying like, right, I'll wait for this kid to come. And then he looks down the street and just see this explosion happen. Yeah. And then Tetsuo just walks through the flames and he's like, I better get in my tank now. And he jumps in the tank. That's when, Tetsuo gets the cape. No one's ever got a cape so cool. Just rips it out of a shop, put it around him. They fire at him with his tank. He just stops it and it blows up.
Yeah, again, would be massively surprised if the Wachowskis weren't looking at this of like, hey man, stopping a bullet's pretty fucking cool. Let's do some of that. I love the idea. Someone then also mentioned it again in terms of the idea of this being they're just a kid. I always thought it's the cape because it looks fucking cool or whatever. But the idea of like he probably thinks he's a superhero at this point. Yeah. Like he's making his own imagery.
And what's quite funny is that the people that are in that, like when the people see him stop that tank bullet, they're all like, they start shouting, it's Akira.
You've got people like, this is Akira. It's like, that's not my Akira. It's like, shut the fuck up, it is Akira.
And then
what they fight breaks out over whether or not this is Jesus or not, basically.
Yeah. And what's mad about it is that he then blows the tank up, which kills people.
Yeah.
So he's not a hero, and these people that think this is a second coming have just died.
Yeah, you've got them like following him down the bridge. They're like, oh, he won't cross the bridge or whatever, so he just destroys the fucking bridge with all of them on it.
Yeah,
he's
brutal in it.
When we see I think her name is like Lady Himoko or it's Lady H something. I don't have that off the top of my head. But it's a shame because, again, as far as I know, she is a really important character. Her voice actor, we watched the dub, God bless her, but the sound as she like falls into the water, not again, flailing her arms or whatever. But yeah, they are following him like Akira, and he does not give a fuck. He then gets to the stadium to find what Akira is. All of these locks that we have been told, don't break this lock. He's like, fuck these locks. And then one of my favorite images in the film is him pulling whatever the fuck Akira is out of the ground. And it is this monstrous fucking thing. Like, so much of this film, we've already seen a lot of like tubes and sort of tendrils and cables that like going into.
When you're going into this, you're thinking this person is either super powerful or they're big.
Yeah. But so much you're already getting this imagery of like biomechanical stuff already. And then you see Akira, whatever it is, being pulled out, and like where it's been cryogenically frozen or whatever, those tubes are breaking. So it is like roaring as it comes out of the ground. There's like fucking tentacles basically coming out of it. Lifts it out the ground, is like, right, I am going to fight this dude Akira. I'm going to find out whatever the fuck Akira is. I'm going to find out who he is, and I'm going to beat the shit out of him. Opens it up, and Akira is some...
It's like 7 test tubes of parts of Akira.
You can't even fucking read it. Like, it's such a good, like... They have built it up of, I can't wait to see what this is, and you feel exactly like him of, like, the fuck is this? Yeah. It's just like a...
I'm not gonna lie, when that bit happened, I was like, hang on.
It is disappointing, but when you know the flow of it, it is good disappointment, I think.
I don't think it was that I was disappointed. I think I was... I think it was such a way to go at that point in the film to be like expecting some being and there to be this huge fight. So then Akira is a brain, a spine, a heart, all these and then it wasn't I was disappointed. I was just sat there and I was like,
Yeah.
Hang on, what? So
you don't know how to read it.
Yeah, it's a really good way of doing it.
Yeah, because again, it's the same way that the character sees it, of just like,
what the fuck have I been doing all this for?
Yeah, and so military dude comes up to him and is literally like, "Cool, you happy now? That's your future. Like, you keep down this path, that is your future." He starts trying. So, military man starts trying to talk him down. He's like, "Fuck." Tetsuo is like, "Fuck this." Heads further into the stadium, takes all the fucking jars and whatever, built his own little throne or whatever with these fucking spines and brains and lungs and whatever, and it's just sort of
before that bit is when
he's already killed
Canada,
the gang as well.
Canada has so he's killed the gang from in the bar, hasn't he?
He's gone back to the bar, been called a crackhead and decided that he doesn't like that very much.
You kills them all. But so at this point,
leaning on top of the door, I fucking love that shot.
Yeah.
So then when he's got all the jars out, that's when Canada confronts Tetsuo, and he's got this fucking gigantic laser gun.
Yeah,
this like a rail gun, and then he shoots him, right?
So Canada has sort of been given this mission by the girl in the chair, communicating through Kai, who has started. So they've been captured after the big fight has happened, and you know the little kids are saying like you guys are probably the only people that are going to be able to stop Tetsuo here. You're the only ones he's going to listen to, and if you don't, something bad is going to happen. We get some explanation that it has something to do with like forms wanting to go back to their previous like almost de-evolution and like the power that they once had, tapping into that. But yeah, so Tetsuo and Kai Canada and Kai go to confront them. They have to like charge the railgun from their motorbike. Yeah. Still doesn't take it, ends up crapping out halfway through. But I really love
is that when the fucking gigantic satellite
beam comes
that
into
imagery
it in a
looks so fucking cool.
I love the way I put it down as the relationship between Tetsuo and Canada here. I just really like that Canada goes into this like you've always already got it built up of like, if I'm going to kill him, like, am I going to be able to do it if I need to? Am I still going to be talking him out of it? And you're going through that conflict. You know what you know how you expect that to play out. And then when it actually comes down to it, I love that he just rolls up like, Tetsuo, you big fucking bitch. What, you think you got superpowers? You think I can't kick your ass still? Like,
I was going to say he like does the best line in the entire film during this bit.
What bit?
Where Canada is like, what was it? It was he's like, Canada! He's like, it's Mr. Canada to you!
It's so fucking dismissive and bantery, and it's so good.
It is weirdly like
see the history between them.
Yeah, it's weirdly still like Friends, isn't it?
It's like it's so much of like, right, I'm going to have to be this big military dude. I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna have to do what I have to do. And at the end of the day, it's just like, nah, mate, fucking put your superpowers down. Let's go behind the fucking schoolyard and I'll kick your ass.
Yeah, at one point when his gun does work, he's like, "Well, fight me like a man."
Yeah, so he's like shooting at him. The battery has not taken, so the railgun doesn't like fully take. It sort of just pings off him, and then you see another beam come in. It's like, oh, suddenly the military have brought out a fucking satellite.
A satellite laser, but I just love that bit where, because it's just like a blue glow happens. You don't really know what's going on.
What it is,
and stuff starts slowly floating up, and it's just like graceful, and then all of a sudden it's just this fucking beam of death.
If you get into more anime, believe me, you will see lots of rocks just floating up, and like I'm pretty sure that is all from here.
Is this where Tetsuo loses his arm due to that?
Yeah, so the satellite, so he like dodges it, but it takes the arm off him. He floats up there, and I love the way that he destroys the satellite. Like, it could be a very loud, but it isn't. It's just he floats up there into the silence of space, like touches it, and then it all just falls down silently, and it's so fucking cool the way it's done. The military dude is watching this from a van of like, this is bad. Like, we've missed and we have fucked up. So those bits crash. The military have basically decided we are not the job for this. Like, the military guy has basically staged a coup at this stage. You've got a lot of stuff, again, a lot of the story that is just too big to be fit into.
That's what I mean. Like, that's why I think when I said at the beginning, I came out of it with so much that I didn't know what I thought about it.
There is so much of a political stuff that, again, you won't catch until like your second or third viewing. There's the military is being like having to disagree with the bigwigs that are trying to rebuild the city, and it's perfect. Everything is fine. We don't need everything. With inside, there's a mole who is funding the militants that we're seeing, who admittedly actually looks like a mole, which is a bit weird. I always thought that was a bit strange, but the bigwigs have then been like, no, we're going to stop the military guy. Your project has gotten out of control. And I love his way of dealing with it, of like, they're like, we're arresting you. You're under civil arrest or whatever. It's like, no. Okay, my team have guns. Point the guns at them. We're going to go get Tetsuo back. But yeah, so he then decides he thinks the only way he's going to be able to do it is like, come back, we can train you how to use this. Clearly, this is not going well for you. Tetsuo has rebuilt his arm out of the like.
So this is the beginning of the body horror.
Like,
when he started doing it, I was
this
like,
is going no, it's going fine. My arm is totally fine. Kaori's there. I'm like, hey, boyfriend. What? No, it's good. It's good. He's like covering it up with his cape or whatever. Bad stuff is happening to Tetsuo at this point. Kaneda then comes to continue the fight or whatever. And yeah, the powers start getting out of control.
Yeah, so he can no longer hold them in.
Yeah,
and
it's
they
like
are
bursting out of him. So yeah, we've alluded to it quite a lot. How would you guys describe this 20-minute chunk?
Horrifying.
Can I tell you? Let me tell you my description of the thing he becomes: a fucking 100-foot baby with giant fucking hands, and then fingers that come out of those hands, that then have hands come off the fingers. It's like an endless cycle.
It was
fucking mad.
Our other friend that we watched it with put it in words that I don't think we could have. His toes have got toes.
He basically becomes he
it's like
transforms.
The arm first, and then the arm starts chasing with more arms.
And he's just like a bundle of flesh and veins and exposed
of just bodies and
and just like multiple
bursting
parts
out of him. You're getting bits of metal work still from what is left of the satellite, and then Kaneda and Kaori get fucking crushed inside it.
Oh shit!
Kaori's death is so. I remember one of the reasons why I wanted to convince you guys to watch this was me and Ollie had spoken about it, and Ollie was like, I never want to watch the scene where she dies again.
It's basically she gets like kind of sucked in and
praying. She's like desperately asking for help. Tetsuo is like, I can feel her inside me and she's dying and I can't stop it.
Yeah.
And then she fucking pops.
Yeah.
Kaneda is like caught under a fucking
like if he was to bite into a fish eye.
Yeah, it literally
is.
She literally just like turns into paste. Kaneda is like stuck between a fucking like veins. He's in near the heart somewhere. It's grim wherever he is. He manages to blast his way out to see what is happening. He's like, "Oh, take a look at my friend." Oh boy. And so we will probably get into the remake or the plans for a remake and where that has gone. This is the bit you are never fucking remaking.
No.
You can't put this on camera. To have it is so well done because of how you still have to empathize with him. You can still see the human in there, and I don't think you could do that outside.
So the film ends. So after that bit, the film pretty much ends with Akira, or is it like the soul of Akira, or the power of Akira has taken over him? So yeah, it's happening again. Basically, what happened to Akira is now happening to Tetsuo. Professor Guy is off, like he's fucking off his gourd on this of like, this is good numbers, this is what I want. He's looking at some weird like dome thing
this
in
fucking,
his thing, and he's like
this glow, but he's seeing readouts that are like, this is going back to a previous form of evolution, this is what he wanted, but the military already know, like, we know what happens here. Last time this happened, he went nuclear, it's going to happen again. Yeah. The children have warned it is going to happen again, and so what seems to happen is they have already spoken about, like, they have this, and I forget the exact phrasing of it, but it's like they have this phrase, but they miss bits of it. Of like, we could do it so that they can rebuild. Yeah. Maybe like it's really well done. So Tetsuo is dying. We figure this is going to be a bad situation again. And my interpretation is they look at Canada and Kai and that they have tried to stop this. So they have done what every adult in the world has not been able to do, because they have either used it for their own advantage, used it as a weapon, used whatever they want to use this power as. And so they with whatever is left of Akira, spiritually at least, he appears briefly as like this fucking translucent, really grim fucking they create like a counter power. Basically the two sort of clash into each other, and Canada gets sort of absorbed into that and pulled back by his feelings for Kai and whatever. They pull the children use that of like, no, there is good here, there is something worth saving. We are not allowing this to happen again, but like something will come of this. We're not just letting everyone die. Which is one that I completely missed out on. I actually really like the ending now, in terms of there is a lot of hope in this ending. Yeah. Again, I think the first time you see it, you're like, oh wow, cool city or whatever. But when you really read into the amount of rot that is going on here, this ending is actually like a nature taking itself back. Like there's a lot of images of renewal, waterfalls coming through, and so they get absorbed into this beam of like this dome of light. Which again counteracts to like the void that we have seen twice before. Sun finally comes out. Tetsuo, Kaneda is just like so thankful for Kai of like, you called out to me and saved me. When he's in the dome, he's just like being fucking attacked by skyscrapers that are just being dragged into unreality. Basically, he's about to crash into those, but gets out of that. Like all that is left of it is it shrinks down into this tiny little dot, which he knows is Tetsuo, or like one of the other gangs runs up to him and is like, where's Tetsuo? It's like, I don't know, but he helped us. And then we see the final shot, which is we then see where Tetsuo is, which is it cuts to this abstract fucking void, goes through all of this fucking basically the 2001, like going into the wormhole, and then just a voice saying that he is Tetsuo. Yeah.
So it's like I think somebody that I saw said that it's he's basically creating a new universe. Yeah,
I have always interpreted it as a new universe, as the start of something new. That
which is a pretty fucking cool way to end it, isn't it? The fact that he's gone into this void.
There's like there's a peace to it. He's
weirdly peaceful for something that's for a film that is so destructive. It is such a peaceful
feels like he
ending.
finds some enlightenment at the end. And again, like I said, I had basically glossed over any of this hopefulness at the end because it was like the trauma, and believe me, there's a lot of trauma.
Shit, yeah.
But when you get over that, like this film does have a weirdly positive message. There is something. There is so much to take from this. There is so much beyond. And again, so many people will look at it of like the cool motorbike movie, but there is so much, so much going on here. Man.
I really like the fact as well that when you're watching the Dome of Light. And when you first watch film, you're like, oh, we basically, the beginning was the end. But it's not that. It's that you're watching the same shit happen again. And it's, people always talk about, like, if you've made a mistake, like creating a nuclear bomb and dropping a nuclear bomb, why the fuck would you do it again? Yeah. And that is a good example of them saying the military is still trying to harness a type of power that is not harnessable.
Yeah. So and again, obviously, something that other people will be able to talk about better than we can, but obviously the scars of nuclear weaponry on Japan itself.
Jesus.
The way that it incorporates that imagery into it, though, like nothing short of spectacular. And again, in a way that feels very lived in. You can feel why this was written. You can feel like the stuff that was going on in the world and the state that Japan would have been in at the time that this was made. What Otomo was trying to say. So you guys.
That is the film.
That is the film.
A couple of bits that you wanted to obviously ask as well, or ask in general. Favorite moments or bits, like what is it about Akira that you liked?
Again, for me, so like I said, I went into it when I did originally watch it. I watched this as blind as you guys. Basically, I was originally given this as like a school project. We were all given like an animated film. I did not watch it then because I was about 14 years old, which probably for the best because that would have done some permanent fucking damage. I read about it. I was like, oh yeah, it's the motorbike film with a nuclear explosion at the start. Didn't really take a whole lot into it. So then again, I found it at, like on the Sci-Fi Channel at like 11 o'clock at night. Like, why are they playing a good movie on? I've heard this is really good, and I was not.
Why the Sci-Fi Channel playing a good movie?
It's true.
I was not particularly an anime fan at the time. Anyway, it was a style of movie that I have had some issues with and still do have to a certain extent. But just blown away by it. Again, just not knowing what it was. Again, the way that it feels like it is such a lived in thing. It is such a, again, for a single piece of media to be able to have so much sort of going on behind the scenes, so much that it is constantly considering. And yeah, like I still think there's, I then don't want to gloss over it by saying, it's just a cool movie. Fucking movie, isn't it? This is a cool fucking movie. And yeah, I was the same of like that hospital scene for me is the one that doesn't get spoken about enough. Again,
it's
I love the
underrated
music.
for you.
I love the music in this, and I love the way that it is done. Of like you see it from his perspective, if he's just tripping the fuck out, of like what is happening. That is probably my highlight. Again, the ending is the ending. I think it is one of the most effective endings for what it's trying to do. I think, again, if you had told me the first time I watched this that this ending wasn't actually 20 minutes, it was the last hour of the film, I would believe you, because it is such a brute force fucking moment. And yeah, it's such a game changer. You can't really think about anything else around it. Again, the soundtrack is incredible. And yeah, just.
What about you, Charles?
Soundtrack for me is way up there. Yeah, it's like untraditional, isn't it?
Yeah,
when you think about
so
movies
it's
like
not
this.
like synthesizers or pheromones or all.
For a film that's set in the future, the
you would expect it to be something very different to what it is. Shout outs to if you ever watch the YouTube video that has Canada's theme on it, which is like the main theme through it. The person who wrote the YouTube description of that starts off of like, I don't own the rights to this, and then by the end of it is just full on Tetsuo screaming like, you fucking, come after me then. If you want to fucking sue me. It's like every comment is just about how unhinged the person that uploaded that was, which is pretty great. That made me smile.
Anything else, Charles, you want to add?
Some of the shots, and it is just
iconic for a reason. I mean, the slide, right? We should get into the when we say about the things that influenced. The Nope obviously was the big one for a lot of people, because Jordan Peele.
The what? Sorry.
The Nope when
Kiki Palmer slide,
yes,
which is what I watched Nope the other night.
Yeah.
Which I was going to say, which is the clip I've got for the reel.
Jordan, nice.
Jordan.
People think we're going to be talking about Nope.
Yeah, but like when I watched it, it was quite late, and I was like,
because So
I love it when shit like that. You notice stuff like that.
So yeah, he was originally he was one of the people that was tied to direct the American remake of it. Eventually managed to walk away, which probably for the best. Like I don't think anyone that is going to be involved in this project will want to be.
Sorry, Charlie's just
You've
trying
got a special guest
assassinate a fly.
Special guest host now. We've got a fly in the
right. So as you've said in the overview that we've got here, the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
But before we get onto that elephant, shall we hear Ollie's?
Let's do your favourite bit first, because you've already glossed over that.
I personally,
no pressure to.
Some of the things that I love, just how there are so many different elements within this film in terms of the type of film it is, the themes. It's all great, but the animation for me in this is just spectacular.
Nothing looks like it.
For something that came out in 1988 to have, I can see why people regard this so highly.
Yeah, there is,
especially in the I would assume in the anime as well that they regard it highly, because it is so unique. The it sounds really, really, really not pathetic, but like minimal. But the way the smoke flows within the animation, I can't describe it.
It's unbelievable. Like there is so, and I will say it as like a cheat used. It obviously isn't a cheat. Obviously, whatever animators can do to get their pictures to the screen, more power to you. But so frequently you will see in other things like just a reused shot to reestablish the environment. There's like none of that. Every time you see a street, it is a brand new street. there is never a scene that is just, this is a close-up of someone's of their face with their mouth moving. There is constantly motion. There is constant
motion.
Everything is constantly doing stuff. I love the look of the lighting and stuff. Like, we watched this on a big screen. I feel like there are two perfect ways to watch this. You either watch it on the biggest screen possible, or I feel like this looks really good on a shitty old CRT, just because the way this film glows, the way that the lighting sort of punches through.
I really like the fact that I feel I'm not saying that I'm an expert in animated films or anything, and I haven't seen like tons of anime especially, but the film, the way that I think I said it previously, the way the buildings are drawn and the way the city is drawn, it feels like you're engulfed. It feels so.
It is immense.
It's so overwhelming. Yeah, immense. You just sit like I said before. One of the shots where they're riding through and like it is just two massive buildings and those buildings split, and you've got somehow even it just fills the screen, but it somehow feels even bigger. Yeah. Even though like there's a top of the screen, it feels like you're going past the top of the. It is just, I've never seen a film, especially an animated film, that has shown immensity and size the way that this film has. I don't know. It doesn't seem possible. Yeah. The way I'm describing it isn't doing it justice. Yeah. You have to see what I'm talking about, because it's just so fucking big.
It's one of those things that I always feel like I'm going to end up getting into like hyperbole of like, if I'd gone to you guys like, no, you don't understand how big this looks. But then you see it, it's like, no, that looks fucking big.
Honestly, you probably say a lot of times, like when people say, oh no, you have to see, like, you can't describe it, you have to see it. This is one of those films where you're like, no, you have to see it. We could describe it for the next hour, and even us describing the monstrosity that Tetsuo becomes is not a good enough description of what you will actually see. Yeah. Everything is impossible.
Big. Tetsuo becomes big, the city becomes big, Tetsuo's forehead. Fucking don't know.
Oh yeah, we didn't even get onto the forehead, right? How the fuck the forehead on that kid, right?
It's to keep all the brains in, they can see
Does his head get bigger as the film goes on as well? I'm pretty sure the shape of his head changes.
I would love if it did. But
yeah, watch it if you can find a copy.
Yes, it's weirdly difficult to find at the moment.
Because they did bring out I think there is a 4K. You can get a 4K, but obviously not everyone has a fucking 4K player.
It's currently £250 on Amazon.
Fucking hell.
Because it's out of print.
I believe it is a case that from looking into it seems like Manga Entertainment, which was always a great name for the
when we put it on, I was like, I recognise that. Yeah, but I hadn't seen it for a long time.
Also always good of like, oh yeah, what's the company that make all the anime films? Manga. It's not quite. No. But so it seems like they have basically been bought out by Crunchyroll at the moment, who have also been bought out by Sony. So
Crunchyroll do have a channel on Prime.
So yeah,
but obviously you'd have to subscribe to it. But
Crunchyroll,
I'm not
the history of that company, they were originally, Crunchyroll is called Crunchyroll because that was the dude who used to pirate a load of anime's username, and then he just pirated enough anime that he managed to go legit.
Wow. Okay.
But it seems like somewhere within them buying that company to get that license, it just has ended up getting lost through the cracks and hasn't gone onto their website and hasn't been reissued, which again was a massive surprise to me. I had to dig out my copy because I was like, it's fine, it's one of the biggest fills of its type, we'll be able to find it on Prime or Netflix.
No. Right, so just quickly then, before we move on to anything else, shall we hear Ollie's I would say his favourite bit. So this is Ollie telling us about his favourite bits of Akira.
Hello everyone. Hopefully Dan explained this at the beginning of the episode, but unfortunately I can't be there to record the Akira discussion. I'm sure this episode will be a lot lighter and quicker for me having not been there to hog the mic. But I just wanted to say this is my second time. When we did this group watch along, the four of us did together, that was my second time watching it. First time I watched it was actually on the big screen. And I think the thing that I love the most about it is the implied storytelling in all of the artwork. Every single frame could be a piece of art in its own right. It's stunning, it's gorgeous. Unfortunately, I haven't read the book. My knowledge of comics doesn't really extend beyond American and European, so I've read a lot of American sort of superhero and cape shit stuff, some French sci-fi, and then some British comics like 2000 AD, Rogue Trooper, and Judge Dredd is one of my favourite characters of all time, so I've read a lot of that, so I can appreciate the detail in the artwork. But what I love specifically is how in so many places, whether it's graffiti in alleyways, displays in storefront windows, items of clothing that people are wearing, patches on jackets, bumper stickers. There's so many references to events that have occurred before the film, to ideas and characters that we don't really see in that story. And it's for stuff that in some instances genuinely only lasts a beat, like 1 or 2 seconds. The attention to detail and all of it is absolutely insane. I'm sure that Harry has done a far, far, far better and more eloquent job of explaining that point than I have now. I'm very sorry that I can't be with you guys. I hope the episode goes well. I'm sure it will be a whole lot of laughs, and I look forward to joining you all again next week with whatever it is that we are talking about. I can't remember because I don't have anything to hand. I'm literally recording this in my car.
So yeah, that was Ollie's moments there. But yeah, you can kind of agree with
again, I think
pretty much everything he says.
Well, I think the bit where like Harry will say this eloquently, like, no, I will just fawn over this film.
It's so let's get to the big old grey elephant or grey child with superpowers.
Yes.
How on earth can you make that into a live action film?
Do you guys know who is attached to it at the moment?
So last big one was Taika Waititi, who.
The face.
I am.
Is he still attached?
Because
I know he was a choice. He was given he basically said he was doing what the fuck is the last 4 film called? Love and Thunder. That took precedence for it. So I had heard that he had sort of drifted away, which I was kind of hopeful for, because I like Taika Waititi films. I have a mixed feelings on his humor most of the time anyway. As I've just spoken a lot about the things that I like about Akira, I don't immediately go to its humor. There are funny bits in it, but I don't know where Taika Waititi can often be very much set up, punchline, pause for effect.
With the biggest respect. Yeah. I don't think it can be done.
No.
I don't think you can. It sounds weird. For live action, I don't think you'd be able to get the scale.
Yeah.
I don't think. I think it's weird. It sounds weird. I don't think you can get the actors for it in terms of the look.
Yeah.
It would have to be Japanese actors for it to be, because it is a film about Japanese history, really. Yeah. Scale, Japanese actors. The music would have to be hopefully like people who done the original scores and like. But then you're going into just basically doing a straight up copy.
Yeah.
Because it's so good.
So there is.
Is there anything else you can do?
So there is story as to what the what the script that has had various changes and what it's gone through. So again, lots of people have been attached to this. Again, Jordan Peele, as we were saying about the reason why Nope got why he did that was like after he stepped away from it, he still wanted to pay tribute to it. I will also say, as a mild anecdote, I completely added 2 and 2 together and got 5 when I heard about the Akira slide in Nope, because I saw the trailer for Nope and there's like, oh yeah, lots of people doing like rodeo stuff and horses. And then I heard Kiki Palmer does the Akira slide. So I was like, fuck yes, the Akira slide's a horse. And then people were like, no, it's a motorbike.
Yeah. Akira slide's a horse.
Oh yeah, that does probably make a lot more sense. So yeah, my understanding. So firstly, it was mostly floated around the late 90s that this was going to be remade in the US. Obviously, lots of images of towers falling down, so lots of stuff with that has affected it.
Yeah.
Gary Whitta, who is the writer on some of the new Star Wars, also the guy who used to be a video games journalist and made the lewd version of Wordle that you can play. Lewd version of Wordle that you can play online.
The what? The lewd version of Wordle?
You don't play Loodle? Yeah, it's Wordle, but for dirty words. Dude has a strange career. Anyway, to be fair, he is a very good writer. I don't particularly like his Star Wars films, but I can appreciate what he does. He has been one of the names that has been trying to repair a lot of the stuff that was already planned. But the last we heard was the only way that they were able to make it make any sense was, and to have it still be an American remake, was that the Akira isn't a bomb or isn't an explosion at the first instance. He works like a EMP that shuts down the New York Stock Exchange. basically throws the US into turmoil, and so they end up having to rely on Japan and bring stuff across, and Japan basically buys the US to make it be both a Japanese and American city, basically. And so within that, we meet our two young heroes, Canada and Travis. And this
Fuck off.
Yeah. So in apparently every version, in every version of the script, they have changed Tetsuo's name to Travis, and again,
Please tell me you're taking the piss.
Stuff
not.
like that makes me fucking boy.
And again, like I said, I like the writer. I like some of the stuff he's done. Man, you can't be doing that.
The name Tetsuo is such a good
it's
name.
such a good name to shout at each other of Canada, Tetsuo,
The fact
Canada, Travis.
the
Doesn't quite happen.
I don't know why, but like Sean William Scott came into my head.
What playing Canada?
No, playing Travis.
For me, it's just the image as a person from the UK, known with the band Travis. I just got the image of him sitting on the throne with "Why Does It Always Rain on Me?"
Oh man,
It doesn't
It
work.
can't
Fucking Travis.
You can't do that.
No
You
offense to
can't-
anybody called Travis.
You can't put this like. We were talking about like, you know, the way the city looks in the Matrix and the way that is so overwhelming. Like this city is bigger, it's more colourful.
Yeah.
It's bigger than it's bigger than Blade Runner. It's bigger
Honestly, I can't think of a film that has a bigger or has shown
And
scale like this
it's
does.
so believable because it is all animated. Like CGI looks fantastic in a lot of cases. The reason why I think the closing scenes in this work so traumatically is because you have been looking at this imagery for the past hour and a half by the time you've got there.
yeah.
So your eyes are adjusted to when you see him become this monstrosity, you can still see the person in there. You're still sympathetic to what is going on. It still makes sense in universe. We can do big monsters in CGI, but it's not going to look like this. It's not going to... There will be a point where you have to, you have to like break reality to see it,
Yeah.
Unless you were to do it like Shin Godzilla. Give me a dude in a suit. I'd maybe be down for that. But
shout out to Shin Godzilla, which is getting... If you are an American listener, you're very lucky because they're re-releasing Shin Godzilla this summer.
Again,
Please go fucking see it.
Good
'cause
movie.
it is fucking banging.
Also, probably took a lot from this in terms of
Yes, destruction.
big
And,
monstrosities.
Haven't seen it.
I've got it on Blu-ray. I'll
Mate,
next
the
time I see it, I'll
fucking-
give it
the
to you.
look of fucking Godzilla at the start of this movie is so
Mate.
good. When he's wiggling down the street.
Oh, where he's got no
Oh,
arms and just
Lord.
legs.
Oh, Lord, he coming.
It's like basically you look at Godzilla as if he was born like a frog. So he's literally he literally comes out of the sea and he is just big old legs. This little baby Godzilla, big old legs,
also,
no
like,
arms,
guts
and-
falling out
and
of
his
him.
eyes are on the side of his head, are
Yeah,
all bulgy.
he
He
doesn't
literally,
have-
and then he evolves and he evolves.
So when you first see him, he doesn't have eyelids yet. So that's
it's just like constant.
yeah.
But people are being chased by this fucking thing, and it's just. But the shot is terrifying
Yeah.
because it's literally a head-on shot, as if you're looking down a massive fucking road, right?
Yeah.
And there's people and cars running away from this thing, and this thing's just staring at you,
It is
fucking
also
going at you. It is terrifying.
It is
I'll
all.
watch it.
It is also all practical effects. They did it like the old Godzilla. It's a dude in a suit.
But it doesn't look like it.
So good.
Sick. Yeah.
Honestly,
Sold.
it is literally like it is the most horror Godzilla you'll ever see.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
And I can't tell you.
The-
Basically,
No,
you
that
see it
sounds-
evolve. The atomic breath that it does, by far one of the coolest
Yeah.
atomic breaths I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing is just so unique and so. Next time when I get back this weekend,
Yes.
I'll drop it off at you because
Now got
it's
into
so fucking
we've now
cool.
got into a different episode.
Sorry.
But that,
No,
no,
we're
no,
still,
no, it's
we're
okay.
still,
It's
so
all- again,
high.
these are all very much things influenced by
Yes.
the same place, come from the same.
Well, let's talk about it now. It's on our lines.
Yeah.
Films that influence on anime and impact on Western culture and other films. Again, well, we've alluded to Blade Runner a lot.
Yeah.
I would be amazed if, especially Denis Villeneuve, when doing the second one again,
Yeah.
absolutely took a lot of this.
Would you say that Blade Runner is possibly as close to a live action you could get of Akira without it being Akira and needing to do Akira?
Again, it's a different tone, right? They're both cyberpunks, but Blade Runner isn't body horror in the way this is. Blade Runner has a very different set of paranoias, Blade Runner, like this isn't a film about robots and
yeah.
any of that impact on society. This is like this isn't about what is supplementing humanity. There's still humanity in there, and look how fucked up we can make it.
Yeah.
Look at what we can do to his humanity to really ruin its day.
Yep.
Although there's also because before we watched this, the day before, I introduced Charlie to Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah.
And that was obviously very much influenced by this.
Yeah.
And the guy that did the anime or doing the anime of Blade Runner and the anime pre-build or of the like 4 short films they did leading up to 2049 is the guy that made Cowboy Bebop. And again, I would be amazed if not massively influenced by that. Basically, if you as you said, you were pretty new to anime as a genre. If you ever see a motorbike in an anime, it's going to do that slide.
Yeah, I was going to say I watched the video today.
Like compilation of
It's just the loads of slides.
Loads of Akira slides, yeah.
What else would you say is influence? Because this is a lot of people, especially online and stuff like that, they say just how big of an impact this film had.
I mean, you can, in terms of, before we even get into the influence, one thing that like, people always say, or not always say, but you hear things of like, if you could see any film in a cinema for the first time or whatever, if you could experience a film live for the first time that you didn't get to because you weren't here, I want to have watched this, but not even necessarily in a cinema. I want to be one of the people that like gets handed the VHS in like 90, doesn't know what an anime is, has never heard of a Dragon Ball or a Pokemon or anything. Even when we came to it, we've come to it with some baggage of what we expect the genre to be.
Yeah.
Imagine this is the first time you watch any of this.
Your fucking mind's gone.
Exactly. But yeah, in terms of its influence, like again, the impact of like again, the biomechanical stuff, the sort of I mean, we see it a lot in superhero stuff anyway. Like I always say it as the really trashy film that no one remembers, and I bring it up so much that I'm probably the only person who remembers it. Brightburn, the fucking not James Gunn, his brother.
Oh, the evil Superman.
Yeah,
film.
but yeah, like any film of like superpowers getting out of control. I think a lot of them are pulling from what Tetsuo was doing. I don't think any of them doing it as successfully as this does it. So you see a lot of that in terms of I was about to say in terms of no one man should be having all that power. This also had a massive influence on Kanye West. We're not talking about it. No, we're not doing that podcast.
I was about to ask what was the influence, but yeah, we won't do that yet.
There is. We'll talk about that off thingy. That becomes a different podcast in many ways. But again, I think you see it in a lot of the body horror that has come from it. Again, I would be surprised if the people that made The Substance. So
I was just having a quick look because I wanted to make sure, just see if the year was correct. Tetsuo, the Iron Man,
is 89.
He's 89, so it's off. Do you think that is a massive influence as well?
So I heard, again, reading up on this, I heard some stuff that made that connection. As to whether or not that is, so I believe the character may be named straight after that.
Okay.
One of the things in Akira is it's already named a lot of after mangas that the guy that wrote it was already a fan of. So
okay.
Akira is a reference to other stuff. The number 28 is a reference to other stuff.
I just checked my notes and I've got a banger.
But so I have heard people make that connection, and again, I think
especially because the whole thing
you see it in a lot with like the metal arm.
Tetsuo in Akira regrowing his arm mechanically, and then obviously in Tetsuo the Iron Man, it is all about a man becoming one with metal.
I would very much. I would assume that is an influence. I don't want to say it with confidence because I don't know how much people drawing that line it's actually confirmed as being a line that was drawn, or how much is that, we're just in the West, we have less pools of...
The ending of Tetsuo, if I remember, it might be the first one, second one, I can't remember, freaked me out when I saw it.
Yep, I can imagine that would do it.
Where he just, big old mechanical man, and he just starts running down the road.
Yep, just straight at the camera.
And it's stop motion, and it freaked me out. I didn't know what to expect. And I was like, again, another film I feel like you'll probably only watch once because... It's pretty.
But again, another piece of, I think, very important Japanese cyberpunk, especially.
Yeah.
And again, like I said, Ghost in the Shell was a couple years later than this. The way
95, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
The way that draws bodies, and like the way that bodies get messed up in that.
The scene I always think of when I haven't seen it, but the scene that I always seems to come up is where she's ripping the lid off of a tank or something, and you just see the muscle ripple, and then just gets ripped apart from the.
And I think a lot of that, I think this was very much an influence on a lot of that style of anime art and
kind of like the more mature.
For
anime.
sure. And then obviously there are links. So again, if you want to just go direct references to this in other anime, like the most recent season of My Hero Academia has basically just done the end of Akira, which I'm a little bit disappointed with. But
is it really?
The spoilers for that, you should still watch it. It's still a fun show, but when it gets to how we're going to fight the final dude ends up with his powers getting out of control, growing from his like right arm like a massive ball of flesh or whatever that starts encompassing stuff. And at one point he literally has like the red cape and is sitting on a throne again.
Okay.
I was like, this is cool, but I know what you're pulling from here. But yeah, and then in terms of any of the sort of big grotesque stuff that you'll sometimes see in manga art, the other big influence for that, and I don't know necessarily where the timelines mesh up, and it was one that you mentioned to me, Dan, at one point of, and what about like Berserk or something? That is another thing to do it on this scale and to do this like level of grotesquity.
Yeah.
Like the detailed, like musculature sort of awful body stuff was another thing that, again, and I don't know where they match up as to what was pulling from what, but I would be very surprised if they weren't pulling from each other. Berserk,
I think, is also being made by good old Keanu Reeves. I think. I'm pretty sure I've read that somewhere. God, what's this thing that you
I can't believe I remember this. Like, when I was watching it, I was like, this is Stranger Things.
Yes,
I remember you saying that to me at one point.
This is Stranger Things.
So they are very influenced. I know this. I think they were big fans of this, and then Elfin Lied, I believe it's called, which is a anime TV show that I've always had referred to me as it's the most traumatic thing you'll ever see. Don't watch it. But yeah, I know the brothers that make Stranger Things have pulled a lot.
There's like that in
the like kid season. In terms of a kid in like the hospital gear sort of. Yeah,
that's big.
A gigantic mosquito.
I see. Because the other thing, obviously, the powers as well, and being over and like getting
like
strong.
Vecna, like mutating.
Yeah. It's very interesting. It has one of the things that I think you wanted to ask as well is, has it inspired us? I was going to say more anime.
You
I wrote down on a bit of post-it note 2 films that I'm going to watch next. Nice. Obviously, one of them is Ghost in the Shell because I feel like that's probably the most common or the most. Again,
it's the other one of this style of film. It is the other one,
and the other one that I think we should watch together. Okay. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you want to see it. It's one of those types of films. Perfect Blue.
I've still never seen Perfect Blue. So
it's a serial killer anime.
Yeah.
Okay. So
it's very influential. So the big influence on that, I don't know if you know this story, but Aronofsky technically owns the remakes rights to that, literally so that he could use it. The scene in Requiem for a Dream with Jennifer Connelly in the bathtub screaming, and like the water comes out. For that 30-second shot, he bought the entire rights to make it. There is a lot, and Satoshi Kon, who was the guy that wrote Perfect Blue, did a lot of other ones as well. There's a lot of stuff about whether he was happy with how much Aronofsky has pulled from that over the years and how much, and occasionally not being so happy, like more being he's just fucking ripped me off. But yeah, I think you guys, from everything I know about Perfect Blue.
Yeah, so if I'm, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the basic kind of plot premise of the film is a woman is a singer and she wants to become an actress, and her fans aren't happy about this. Because she wants to go into being an actress and doing more adult stuff kind of thing. And then she ends up having there's a stalker or there's somebody who's very into her, and online is a load of diary entries written by her, but she doesn't remember writing them. Yeah.
So that, I believe, is, like I said, I've not seen it myself. Jesus. It's one I've always wanted to watch.
Apparently it's quite...
I know people who fucking love it. I know people who fucking love it. I feel like that is
we'll get Ollie in on it. If you might have seen it, I don't know. But that's... When I read it, because I was looking at other, I pretty much went, I think it was a couple of days afterwards, I was like, I need to see I need to keep on top of this and keep a roll with this because I don't want to leave too long between anime films and what's next. And obviously, Ghost in the Shell will always come up.
Yeah.
But the one that interested me was Perfectly the Most because of the premise. I was like, that sounds pretty mad.
Well, hey, if you've got the premise wrong, it's fine because we're putting this on the internet and no one has ever gotten mad about anime on the internet, so we're all good.
You've scared me.
You're fine. The other thing I will say in terms of a general anime talk in general, if we're going to have that, I think the bigger thing to take away from it though is while it is good to keep into it or whatever, I don't think you need to get too much into the mindset of like, well, this is a different thing from other films, or I need to watch this in a different mindset. Anime is a massively engrossed, like, again, the other anime that you have seen being a Studio Ghibli film, and that's one of the darker Studio Ghibli films that you've seen.
It's still nowhere near as
but again,
the darkest part of fucking Akira.
There is other anime that is very nice, so it's not all this, I promise you. If you want to watch an anime show, there's a show called Laid Back Camp, which is just kids go camping. The most traumatic it ever gets is they can't cook their cocoa in one episode. It's fucking lovely. Treat it like you would any other genre, right? You wouldn't suddenly be like, oh, I'm only going to watch thrillers from now on, and I need to be in a thriller mind state or whatever. There's obviously a lot of people that will be very into it, and God bless them, more power to them or whatever. But you can just watch it and enjoy what you enjoy.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Man, I can't believe this episode came and went. We've been
I can't believe that I actually managed to talk you into this and that I am.
Oh man.
I mean,
again, I'm glad that I have passed this on to.
After the first viewing, I was like, I don't want to watch that again. And then doing the research and looking into this episode, I feel like you need to watch it again.
And to be fair, I agree that was my feeling of it was just too much the first time I watched it.
There is a lot.
I bought it like because it was like what I had already buying other Blu-rays, and it was like, add this to get 5 for £30 or whatever.
Yeah.
And then went back to it that time. And once you know the beats, once you obviously prepare yourself for what happens in the final 20 minutes, when that is no longer just the shock and awe of it, I do think you end up taking more in. You do end up enjoying it.
Even more appreciation for it.
For sure.
Man.
What an episode. Is there anything else we want to add at all? I think we've pretty much covered it quite well. And for our first anime or our first episode on anime film, I think there's probably no other place to start.
Again,
really,
I think it was a good starting point. I think other like the other major ones would be like the Ghiblis or whatever, but I don't think any of them. It would be a very severe jump in what we've talked about beforehand. Anyway.
Yeah.
And hey, if you guys want to watch some Studio Ghibli movies, I'm always down to watch some Studio Ghibli movies with you.
Studio Ghibli is probably a good one to go after watching Akira, just to cleanse yourself
also,
a wee
now
bit.
you can back me up, Dan. You should watch Cowboy Bebop. You would enjoy that.
I have heard Cowboy Bebop a lot. Like I've seen it, and
it's another one I think you would vibe with.
Okay, cool. Right, a couple of plugs. Then we are on Instagram at the Missed Scene Pod. We are on X, and if you are following us on X, which I don't think you are because we've only got 10 followers, we have actually started posting again. We neglected it for a little bit, but we are back up and running on X as at Missing Scene Pod. We are on Letterboxd as Charles.
Westwood C.
I'm Daniel Jeeves. Ollie is OJB all caps.
Yeah.
It's been fucking 17 weeks and Harry still hasn't got one. But we will get him on there. Listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music every Friday. Apologies for the lateness of the one last week. It was just late. I'm not going to lie to you. So, yeah, we are back up and running Fridays again. That's everything. Ollie will be back with us next week, possibly, maybe, who knows? Yep. I can't tell you what the episode is next week either because I can't remember.
Fair enough.
Can you, Charlie? No. But we'll let you know and you'll find out afterwards. But yeah, that's it. I've really enjoyed that.
That was good.
Thank you for going on this journey with me.
Anytime.
Yes, anytime. And you have inspired me, Harry. You have inspired, and so have you, Akira.
If I've turned you into an anime fan, I'm both thankful and also kind of guilty about that. I'm so sorry.
No worries at all. Right, thank you, Harry.
Thanks so much.
Charlie, as always, thank you.
Thank you.
And Hear us next week. Goodbye. Do you think I should cut that bit out?
No.
Okay, cool.